There's a gentleman in the middle there with the number 1 to your right.
Good afternoon. My name is Finn Travers Smith from Move Your Money, and I'm here as a proxy for Ludovica Rogers. Last year I stood at this AGM and criticised the board for exerting undue influence on the government, where the board secured significant regulatory concessions through empty threats to relocate to Hong Kong, claims which the board of course rejected. Since then, it's emerged that the then-Chancellor, George Osborne, met with HSBC execs an astonishing 56 times since 2010 throughout the Swiss Leaks and Panama Papers scandals. It has also since come to light that HSBC has made several significant loans and lending decisions that not only add credence and credibility to the claims of undue political influence and corruption, but which may also contravene HSBC's own policies on political neutrality. For example, HSBC approved more than £200 million worth of loans at the height of the financial crisis to a company called IPGL Limited, despite the company being over-leveraged, under severe financial distress, and having a significant risk profile. Now, IPGL Limited is owned, managed and run by the Tory party treasurer, Michael Spencer, and the loan was used at least in part to make significant political donations to the Conservative Party, totalling more than £5 million. Donations that HSBC must have known about, given that HSBC is IPGL's bank, and donations which were only possible because of HSBC's decision to lend such huge sums of money to a company flirting with bankruptcy. So not only does this raise questions about HSBC's role in public life.
Is there a question coming?
There absolutely is. I'm nearly there. It's your last one, so if you can hold out for a little bit.
I'll hold out for just a fraction more.
Thank you. Not only does this raise questions about HSBC's role in public life, the level of influence that you hold over government, and your own refusal to discuss the possibility of corruption and undue influence at last year's AGM, but it also raises questions over whether you have contravened your own policies on being politically neutral, which therefore raises questions around the competency of the board and its ability to manage the bank in a way that's compliant with regulation, law, and your own policies. So, my question is,
okay.
Does the board recognise the serious conflicts of interest that have been brought to light by these lines of inquiry, and what steps will the board be taking to ensure political neutrality rather than covert political corruption?
Okay, so there's quite a lot of interpretation in your statement. First of all, we never made any threats to the government about anything in relation to our domicile decision. That was a fully researched process that took over 10 months, and we did that completely neutrally as to outcome. It was what was in the best interest of the long-term future of the company, and we made a decision to remain domiciled in the UK. We are politically neutral. I don't have the record that you have as to the number of times colleagues may have met with any government minister, but if you say over, how many years was it, 5 or 7 years, we met somebody 50 times, 10 times a year, one a month for the largest bank in the UK, given that the government is interacting with business. I don't regard that as unusual, and it would be very unusual that any of those, it would be unusual for the majority of those meetings to be on their own. We meet government all the time in conjunction with industry groups and other institutions. We certainly don't use these activities or lobby in any way for particular advantage. Usually we're being brought in to seek industry, or indeed perhaps an HSBC view if it's related to an area of our particular expertise as to how something should be approached. So we're basically providing information that others will make decisions on, rather than saying, here's a decision we'd like you to make. We're not going to talk about individual companies at all. So the assertions that you made about an individual company and whether a loan was used to onward sent to a political party, that's not something we can comment upon. But thank you for what you said. No. What we're asking to do is the authority to do what we do in the normal course of business, which could be construed as political donations. So let me give you an example. And we're asking for a very modest amount of money. If we have a business breakfast talking about how to get inward investment into name any region in the country, and we invite the local MP to come and speak at that business breakfast, someone could say, you're sponsoring an event with 50 business people, you're giving a platform to a minister or a local MP, that's political support. Actually, it's a business breakfast talking about how to get people to invest in Wales, South Glamorgan, wherever you want. And it's to protect ourselves from that kind of challenge. It's not in any way to be involved with a political party. It's to do the kind of business outreach meetings we do, which we would quite normally have someone on the panel or have as a guest speaker someone who is in the political system. I regard that as part of normal life and not in any way to be criticised. There was a gentleman at the